I've conducted thousands of programs to more than 2 million people across 50 some different countries. Let me share with you the thing that brought more people to tears than anything I've ever said. In my network marketing career, I went from struggling, losing money for 5 years to becoming one of the highest income earners in the world and producing more than $22 billion worth of revenue for my team and my clients. I'm Randy Gage, and this is the Duplication Nation MLM Pod. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. So let me tell you about how all these people came to tears. Go back with me in time. I'm going to the Dominican Republic to work with a team that for a leader. This leader was the top income earner in the world for a particular company, and they asked me to go there and work with their team. They had a few hundred people there that they thought there was some real potential leaders, but there was an extremely toxic culture. People buying ranks, doing runs to get to rank advancements, but then never staying qualified at ranks. So you had a lot of people talking about money and wearing pins, but there was no duplication going on. And as is so often the case, I was brought in to fix it. And I went to fix it. And here's how it came about. Because what we're talking about here, and why I'm sharing that story, is because what happened is after I finished training on the difference between driving lines versus building lines, the emotional outpouring from people was extraordinary. They just felt like the weight of the world had been lifted from their shoulders. And I want to take you into what this means and why it's so important for your business, right? Driving lines is the hype, the rah-rah we get. So like in that example there, they had, and it started by some leader. He read a book by some idiot, and the idiot in the book said, go down and buy big orders under people and qualify them for ranks quickly and get your sponsorship line to participate with you. So somebody be 2,000 points away from a rank, and they'd go down and the sponsor, and then they'd get someone else. They'd sponsor would buy 1,000 points, and they'd get someone else from the sponsorship line to buy 1,000 points to which, points, CV versus real dollars or whatever the currency is where you are. That might have been $3,000 in cash that they put to qualify this person for a rank that they weren't going to qualify the next week or the next or the next or the next or the next. You know what? And it just created imposter syndrome. And no, imposter syndrome isn't good. It's terrible. It can be a death sentence to a business. So I want to share with you 5 things to prevent that. Because when you're driving a line, you know what it creates? Exhaustion. You're just exhausted. But if you're a monthly plan, every month you go through, am I going to qualify? You're chasing a qualification. Most of you guys are doing weekly plans now. And then it's every Tuesday or every Wednesday, whatever the close of the week is. You're up till 2 a.m. If this guy does an order, if we put an order under that one, and it's just exhausting. You need a week off, and you need a lot of weeks off. You just need a week where it's the day before the weekends, and you pull out your phone, you look in the back office, and you go, oh, I'm qualified already. No drama, no trauma this week. I can just go about my business without all the emotional anxiety. And when you have to do that week after week after week, if you're trying to stay qualified, you get burnout. Whereas when you drive a line, when you build a line, you're creating security. You're building an ever expanding book of business. So I want to share with you 5 key things that I think will make the difference for you to get you, I'm qualified. And then every so often, you're going to say, I'm qualified. But look at that. I'm kind of close to that next rank and I actually got a shot at getting there. Maybe I turn on the afterburners a little and I could hit that next rank this week. And what a difference it'll make. This is really the difference. You hear me talk about $1 million tips sometimes. I mean, it's a tip that once you get it, could be worth $1 million in additional earning over the course of your career. So here, this is one of those $1 million tips, excuse me, or $1 million lessons that when you implement these 5 things, it could literally be an extra $1 million or euros over the course of your career. So let's break them down. Number 1, effective onboarding. Meaning bringing in somebody the right way, creating the right expectation, and getting them a taste of success early on. So the way you do this is through your new distributor orientation, which if you're not familiar with what needs to be in there, get my direct selling success book. I've got the whole generic breakdown, but it's how somebody gets started fast. And it's based on the principle, and this is truth with a capital T. I know it with every fiber of my being. And this is this is what it is. It is easier to make a lot of money quickly than it is to make a little money slowly. Momentum creates more momentum. Mojo creates more mojo. Duplication creates more duplication. So a new distributor orientation, it's got to be a workbook, a video. It takes people through the process. How do you sign up new customers? How do you enroll new distributors? How do you place your orders? How do you put your payment information so you're going to get paid? What's the hot list of candidates you identify with first? What is the candidate pathway you pull them through? What are the tools you use for that? With some like templates for the invitations. That's onboarding. That's effective onboarding. And when you do that right, it makes everything else accelerate exponentially. Second thing is what I call the presentation triangle. You and a candidate, there should never be a point A to point B thing. There has to be point A, the candidate, point B, you, and point C, the external source tool. So you never are giving the information direct to the candidate. You're directing them to the external source tool, which is giving them the information. Why? Because then anybody can duplicate it. See, extraordinary people are able to give amazing presentations that enroll a lot of people. Average people cannot do that. If you want to create true duplication, you got to do business in a way that the average person can produce the extraordinary results. And the way you do that is through the use of the right external source tools. Number 3, you need a viable customer base. The difference between a legitimate direct selling company and some Ponzi scheme scam is that in direct selling, we don't get headhunter fees. We don't get paid to sign up people. We earn overrides and commissions on the volumes produced by the products or services which get delivered to the end consumer. So we've got to create a viable customer base. And the appropriate thing here that you need to be cognizant of is what I call the turn question. Now, I have a bias. I have a way that I present. I always lead with the opportunity. So if I'm working a cosmetic company, I'm not going to be talking about makeup or foundations or skincare creams. If I work for a nutrition company, I'm not going to be talking about protein bars and nutritional supplements or weight loss. If I'm in whatever program I would work, I would be looking the first blush, I'd be looking to introduce people to the ability to become a social entrepreneur and create an ongoing lifestyle business. Now, when people let you know that they're not interested in that business opportunity, then you've got to have this turn question that I'm talking about. So, for example, if you're in a wellness company, your turn question would be, do you have any wellness goals that you haven't achieved with your current routine? Something like that. Now it directs the conversation to the product. So instead of somebody being a no, they're not interested, they turn into a customer. And what you want to do is you want your new people to get 2, 3, 5 customers their first week in the business, but getting them as a result of people who are not interested in the opportunity. And so what that does is it creates this reality of retention. Let me give you some breaking news. If your new distributor has 3 or 4 retail customers signed up on AutoShip, they're never going to drop out. It doesn't matter if they never make a bonus check on the overrides. It doesn't matter if they stop coming to meetings. It doesn't matter if they don't go to the convention. It doesn't matter that they never log on to the website. If they've got some customers on AutoShip that are giving them residual, they're never going to leave. And if they never leave, they're always around. There's a chance they're going to get exposed to you, another leader, or an event, and their world is going to change and they're going to become a builder. But even if they don't, they're still there and they're providing volume. And that base, that viable customer base, is what produces the retention. And retention gives us income, turns it into a cash flow positive business, and it creates duplication. So we've got to have the system, have the training, have the culture that they're getting a viable customer base. And then that'll grow over time. Number 4, you hear me talk about a lot, so I won't go into depth here, but on this channel, in this podcast, there's whole shows devoted to this topic, which is an active recruiting culture. So again, you want to deep dive, read the Direct Selling Success book, look for one of the podcasts on exclusively that. But here's the too long, didn't read version. Just make sure the onboarding that we talked about and your culture that you set in there, that every person when they join, every week when they do their planner, there's a block of time specifically dedicated to inviting. And if you create that culture, believe me, if everybody has 45 minutes in their calendar every week where all they're supposed to do is make invitations to get people in front of external source tools, duplication is a given. Growth is a given. Viable, cash flow positive business is a given. All right, number 5, I don't know how to do this name because each of you have different compensation plans with different ranks. So, but every comp plan has a foundational rank. This foundational rank is the barometer that determines all of the higher ranks. So as an example, let's say the higher ranks are called diamonds, right? Because that's very common in our place. So we have diamonds, double diamonds, triple diamonds. Well, what's the criteria for that? Well, it's what that foundational rank. So it might say that, okay, as a diamond, you need to have 5 director legs. As a double diamond, you need to have 8 director legs. As a triple diamond, you need to have 10 or 12 director legs. Well, then we know that director leg, that's the foundational benchmark rank that I'm talking about. So you create the culture and the training where people make a commitment to be that rank. So they take the partner pledge or the director commitment or the director declaration, whatever the rank is. And here's how you explain it. Here's how you implement it. You let people know, hey, I have all kind of team-wide support. We have our regular opportunity presentations. We have our regular leadership academies. We have quarterly major events. We have an annual company event. We do a, such and such live stream trainings on these dates. And then I spend my one-on-one time with my serious people. And my serious people are the ones who make the director declaration or the partner pledge or whatever it is, which is that they will be qualified at that rank every pay period. They will develop that viable customer base. Notice how interconnected these all are. They'll have the invitations coming through because everyone will be inviting a block of time. So sales will be growing, numbers of people will be growing, volume will be growing. And so they let you know, hey, I know you need 7 director legs to be at your rank I want you to know every week you can count on me. I'm making the commitment that I'm making the director declaration that every week you'll know I will be one of your directors. And you let people know those are the people you give the one-on-one attention to. Those are the people you work with personally. Those are the people you partner with them until they get as high of a rank as they want to achieve. But it starts with their commitment. And I have to tell you, this is one of those things that I've only developed in maybe the last year. Huge for me. I mean, huge. Made such a big difference for the business just because of the culture it sets. So take those 5 things together and you have an extremely high, you've got the foundation for duplication. So let me finish the story. Take you back to the Dominican Republic again. It's only, I don't know, 300 people or something in the room. I finished that training. What I tell them is, we're not doing this toxic culture anymore. Because they had this thing where people would say, the highest rank, the most amount of money I ever made in a month was $20,000, but on average month, they're making 7. Or they say the most I made was 7,000 euros, but the most they make in a month is 2,000 euros. That's their average, right? They all felt like imposters. They felt like criminals. They felt sleazy. They tell me, so so what I tell them is that ends today. We're never doing that again. That is completely removed from all opportunity presentations. And you just make it about the candidate instead of about you. And you go out and you talk about becoming a social entrepreneur, the kind of good they can do, Talk about you're going to help them get debt free as soon as possible. Talk about being a social entrepreneur where you're building wealth by doing good. Make it about them. So I finished the training, and I have never seen such an emotional response afterward. People were just coming to me in tears. Randy, you've transformed my whole thing. Honestly, I just wanted to drop out. I thought this was going to be the last meeting I ever came to. I came just to tell my sponsor I'm done. But when you said that and you took all that weight off my shoulders, people would be talking about, I would know when we're about to get to that section of the meeting. My palms would get sweaty, my breath would get really unsteady. I'd be so anxious and nervous. I feel like an imposter. I feel like a fraud. You've just given me freedom again to have fun and do the business the way I want to do it. And that's how it can be for you. And that's how it can be for your team. You can create an empowering, positive culture that has people excited to come to meetings, excited to get out there and invite, excited to get people into the candidate pathway, and excited to start breaking ranks and creating true duplication. So I hope you'll really understand. This is the kind of topic, this is worth doing a group training section on. This is getting all your people to watch this or listen to it and then have a group training on it. This is where, something to really, implement. These 5 things, I promise you, you'll build an incredible culture and demonstration of duplication, and the business will be fun and enjoyable and empowering and profitable. All right, for you guys watching on YouTube, love to see your comments down in the chat. You guys, podcasters, please rate it, subscribe on whatever platform you do. I will see you guys next episode. Have a great week. I love you all. Peace. Hey, do me a favor before you go. Please rate this podcast and then share it with people you know who could benefit from the business building advice here. And then if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're on one of the other platforms that allow comments, please get down below, give us a shout out to the community in the comments section. Thanks.